How to go from 20 to 12% body fat. This is the exact method I used just a couple years ago to get back in shape fast. So if you've been training on and off for years and you're stuck around 20% body fat, you do keep trying, but you're not really truly getting lean. And you always find yourself either stalling or bouncing back and rebounding. Then over the next few minutes, you're going to understand exactly why fat loss does get a bit harder at this stage. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what you need to do in order to get leaner consistently and see results. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Jacob. I've been a coach for over 10 years and I've worked with hundreds of people helping them get into the shape of their life. And I've seen a lot of them make the same repeatable mistakes that stop them seeing results initially. So going from 20% body fat to 12% effectively. There's 5 points I really want to cover here. Firstly, stop dieting like a beginner. Aggressive deficits with no change in nutritional density. You're going to find it very difficult to adhere to the diet. Your training performance is going to suffer and you're going to hit burnout pretty quickly. If you're looking at bringing yourself down from 20 to 12%, your fat loss journey needs to be planned. And you definitely need to be looking at the overall quality of your diet, in particular having enough protein to maintain muscle mass, dietary fiber, and good quality fats to maintain good hormonal health. Yes, the obvious aim is to burn more or consume less in order to keep getting leaner, but it needs to be thought out and it needs to be planned. Next up then is training. You want to train with intent, not just sheer volume. At this stage, your calories are going to have to keep slowly getting lower, or you're going to have to keep potentially expending more. Obviously, the leaner you get, the more metabolic adaptations will occur, and you're going to have to counter-react that by reducing calories or increasing expenditure. I would always suggest a bit of both. But if you're then trying to train 5-6 days a week in the gym and doing a lot of volume, it's going to be quite fatiguing and you're going to find it difficult to recover properly in between sessions, and you're definitely going to find it hard to keep upping performance. Also, not to mention, it will increase injury risk. So more often than not, if you're trying to get down to this lean physique, training just 3 or 4 days a week, 45 minutes to an hour, and be really intentional with them sessions and focusing more on intensity and quality versus sheer volume is always going to be a better idea. Small progressions each week will help you to see better results, and really muscle retention at this point is key. As the leaner you get, the more receptive you are to be losing muscle mass as well as fat. Number 3, your fat loss needs an exit plan. A lot of people, when they're on a body transformation journey, don't really necessarily fail the plan. It can be exciting and motivating if you're seeing results. And I find as a whole, most people are good at following rules and having some structure in place. But what most people struggle with is what they do after the fat loss journey and how to start to regulate things in a bit more of a moderate way. Maintenance in itself is a skill, and it is something that needs to be practiced and taken seriously and given a little bit of time. Otherwise, the inevitable will happen of you needing to revisit this fat loss journey once every 6 to 12 months. One of the first things that you're going to want to do when you're at this point where you're happy with your physique is work out what your rough maintenance calories would be, and this is going to be predominantly determined on your body weight. Activity levels will be factored into this as well, but the very best place to start for most guys is going to be around about 14 or 15 calories per pound of body weight, and then adjust accordingly after a week or two. I would take the weight still frequently, look at your waistline measurements, and just generally how you're looking and feeling after being consistent with that calorie intake for at least 2 weeks. And for women, it's going to be roughly around about 13 to 14 calories per pound of body weight, so slightly less than guys on average. But these numbers will give you a rough amount to help you maintain. Number 4, it doesn't go without saying, consistency over intensity. Just remember, it's the small repeatable actions over the next few months that is going to get you to see consistent results. And going back to what I just said, we need a few months, not just weeks. If you're trying to now get a lean physique, a bit of patience and consistency is really what's going to make the biggest difference here. And finally, number 5 is really about getting clear of expectations and accepting that time horizon. Going from 20 to 12% is not going to happen overnight. On the flip side, with a bit of structure, consistency, and a realistic plan to stick to, big results can happen in a few months. I've had a few guys here, for example, James, 3 months he got in great shape. No different with Matt and also Lewis. These guys had a variety of starting points and age ranges. Matt in his 20s, James in his 30s, and Lewis actually in his 50s. So if approached properly, over the next 3 to 6 months, you could get in great shape and drop a substantial amount of body fat, but you do need to give yourself at least a few months. So really just remember, getting lean and getting in great shape is not about consistently doing more and burning the candle at both ends and fatiguing yourself and burning yourself out. It's just about focusing on doing the right things and doing them consistently for long enough. So if you're watching this video and you think, yes, this relates to me, and I want to achieve some of the results that you can see on screen right now, then I've helped hundreds of people go through this process over the last 10 years. If you want to find out more about the coaching program and specifically how things work, then just tap on the link below this video. And of course, if you found this helpful, I have content coming out like this every single week, so like the video and also subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.